Good morning from the second age of reason. Some say, America, love it or leave it. The Native Americans have been saying, America, love it or give it back. What is there to love or to hate about your country? What is it? Is it the culture and the people? Is it the land terrain and the climates? Is it the economics and job picture? Or is it the politics? And so I just gave that some thought, and thinking in terms of why America came to be with its founding documents, the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution. The Constitution is a wonderful document. It lays out our rights, and it has been amended, so it is a mutable, changeable document, which is something to bear in mind when saying that you're a constitutionalist. It's not set in stone, and that's the way it is supposed to be, because they knew that some things might change over time. There's a Declaration of Independence. That is set in stone. That is our self-determination. That is our defining moment as a nation. The rest is just administrative detail after that. And so I would hope that you would read that document first and foremost, because if you eliminate that, then we are still subjects of the crown. One thing that is visible and noticeable in the design of these documents is they were designed to overthrow the system of the world, of the entire planet. Because up until this point, they have been designed to be, governments have been designed to rule over the many people. And in this case, they finally came out and said the government of the people, by the people, for the people, where the people themselves are the rulers. And that's why, when you look at the Bill of Rights, it talks about the rights of individuals, of the people. And it says they are given by the Creator. They're unalienable. They cannot be taken away. The government does not give you rights. And the government really cannot take rights away. They can violate your rights. And I don't know if you would consider that legal or illegal. However, rights are inherent in being a human. And that, brings into another debate, which is a totally different video, would be the rights of corporations. Corporations as persons, but we're not dealing with that at this time. So Europe had the idea that there can be rights, but they might not be bestowed upon individual people. For instance, I was studying data privacy in Europe. And when you first look at the laws of data privacy, it looks as though Europe has a superior data privacy model. That you go through it and it's like, wow, this is really tight. This is good. I wish we had this in America. But then you come to realize it's the privacy of the data, not the privacy of the citizen or the person. The person has no privacy. Only their data does. And that is the whole flaw in the design of the European system. The whole reason why America was designed to just throw it up and say, forget it, we don't want it. The whole purpose of our laws was to overthrow the whole world system that's designed upon lording over the many people. Now, that gets us to the other point about things that are happening in the world today, because it seems as though America is becoming more like Europe. And Europe was made an attempt to become like America, thinking, well, if we have a bunch of territories and we glue them together, we can have a big and powerful nation, the United States of Europe. And but it didn't quite work out that way, because they've overlooked certain key parts of what makes America great, because they still have, a ruling class, and the ruling class is not the lower, worker people who, do all the work for the continent. So that way, it's not going to succeed because it doesn't have that foundation, the foundation that made America great, and that America is beginning to forget, unfortunately. So, one of the other designs of the United States government in the beginning was, number one, is that people have liberty. They are free to do anything, except a few things that the laws will say are illegal, and, for instance, violate the rights of others. And that is a great concept, that people have liberty. They can do anything. And then, conversely, government can do nothing except that which a few laws expressly permit. And that's another part of the design of the American government, is limited government and liberty for the people. Now, the next step is taking that idea to Europe. That's totally contrary to the way the European system is, where the governments have the divine right of bureaucracies to do anything they darn please. They are totally enabled and fully powerful, and people can do nothing without being under surveillance or have the police state after them because they're very afraid. So, anyway, that is the difference between, like, America and Europe. But as it's starting to fall apart in America, it's becoming more apparent that the representatives in the government are becoming more like the lords, more like, dukes and earls and barons, ruling over the masses like they have been in Europe for centuries. And so I'm going to put an idea forward for you. How about this idea? We take away the right to vote from government employees because it's a conflict of interest. Because if you allow them, the government people, to vote on stuff, of course they're going to vote for more for themselves. That's why we have Sarbanes-Oxley in the business world, to prevent conflict of interest, to identify conflict of interest, and to go out of our way to have segregation of duties, to have limited powers in certain areas. Government employees and elected officials should not be able to vote, and that goes for Congress as well. They should... who should vote are the people. We should have referendums for laws that people are required to vote on, with voting holidays. That way they could say, do you think we should have nationwide health care? Single-payer health care. People would vote on it. 150 million of them. Every eligible voter would, except for the government employees. Okay, so 100 million of them. Then what would the Congress and the senators do? They would implement the laws that the people passed. So they could allocate the funds and do the taxes to expedite, to make the laws go into effect and take place. And that's where the role of government would be, in order to be a servant of the people, not the other way around. So, what do you think of that? Rate, put your comments below, and until later, we'll be seeing you.